Hey, what's up nerds, geeks, and collectors alike. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends MCU Captain Marvel. And fun fact, this is actually my very first Marvel Legends figure in the 6-inch scale line, and not to mention my first female MCU or overall Marvel Legends figure. Now I got this figure from Toys R Us. This figure is about $28 US, but here in the Philippines it is about 1,400 pesos. Taking a close look at the packaging, here we have the Marvel Legends logo. Here we can see the figure, Captain Marvel, and her name as well. And moving on to the side, here we have an image of Brie Larson as Carol Danvers, aka as Captain Marvel. And here at the back we have a picture of Brie Larson as Captain Marvel as well as a bio. It states here, Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes, Captain Marvel, when Earth is caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races. And here we have the other figures from the wave. If you complete all figures, you will be able to build the Kree Sentry. And at the other side, here we have the same image of Brie Larson. Nothing too special there. And then moving on to the top, here we have the logo of Captain Marvel herself. And at the bottom, here we have our legal mumbo jumbo as well as the UPC. And that's about it for the packaging of Captain Marvel. And here she is outside the packaging, looking very cool. As you can see here, she is in her traditional Captain Marvel costume, design wise that is, with some modern touches to it, which we will be taking a look at right now. Here we have Captain Marvel in her Kree armor with the red, blue, and gold palette with some added details right here. As you can see, this figure is beautifully sculpted and painted, and I like what MCU tried to do here, which they successfully did, is to keep the costume as comic accurate as it can be, rather than just an entire redesign. You definitely get the sense that this is Captain Marvel. I like the glossy blue in contrast with the muted red. See, it is quite vibrant, giving off that shine. Really cool with the gold and red linings added into the armor to give it more realism, and that's really cool. Especially the helmet. I really like the helmet here with the mohawk and everything. And let's move on to the accessories. And here we have Carol Danvers with her accessories. Here she comes with interchangeable open hands, or flight hands that is. Let's take a close look here. As you can see, my camera won't focus on the pieces itself, but overall, here we go. These are beautifully sculpted open flight hands with the added skin tone paint in the overall red plastic and some added gold. And in order to exchange in a generic Marvel Legends fashion, just firmly hold the figure as well as the interchangeable hand, pull it out, and then here we install the hand. There you go. And there you have her open flight hand, as you can see. And that's what you also do for the other hand, but let's keep it at that for later on. And of course, her additional accessory is an additional head. This is a unmasked head of Carol Danvers, and Hasbro once again using their photoreal technology in order to get the likeness of Brie Larson. It's actually a beautiful piece. The sculpting is pretty good, as well as the application of the paint. Not only does she have that brownish blonde hair, it has some dry brushing of the brown in order to give that sense of realism. And what you have to do here is pull the head off and then just tap the head in right there. There we go. It is a snug and tight fit. It's one way or another, it's perfect. It's a perfect fit. And there we have Brie Larson in the Captain Marvel body, which is pretty cool. She does move her head. She can move her head the entire 360, but what she can't do is look up or look down that far. That's due to the fact that her hair is blocking or hindering that articulation. But overall, it's a pretty good accessory to have, considering that this is an MCU figure. And for articulation, her head can go entire 360. It can look up that far and then look down that far. Her arms can go out this far, but the shoulder pads are hindering the hand from going any further. She can do an entire 360. She does a 90-degree bend. She can also swivel at the elbow, at the wrist, and a swivel here, as well as a bend. And there you have it. That goes the same for the other hand right here. You can also bend the wrist, because there are tendencies that the interchangeable hand does not bend. Here she has a torso swivel, upper torso swivel, as well as a crunch and an arcing back. She can kick, and she can move her feet that far back. And then she has a swivel at the thigh, double jointed knees, and finally a back and forth, as well as a super pivot right there. And that's about it for the articulation of Captain Marvel. Now for some size comparisons, let's get out the trusted ruler. Here she stands about 6 inches, but if you include the hair, she stands about 6.5 inches high. And let's get a fellow Marvel Legends figure, the Marvel Legends Captain America Civil War Battle Damage Iron Man from the 3-pack. And as well as a fellow Hasbro figure, the Star Wars The Black Series Star Wars A Solo Story right here, Han Solo, also in the 6-inch scale line. And that's Han Solo. Let's just make sure it doesn't fall down. Okay, I think and let's get another fellow Hasbro product. Here we had the Transformers Studio Series number 44, Transformers Dark of the Moon Leader Class, Optimus Prime in a Voyager class scale. And once again, the ruler, and Iron Man stands about 6.5 inches high. And then let's take him here. And then from head to toe, Captain Marvel and Han Solo stands about 6 inches high. And Optimus Prime stands about a little below 7 inches. And for final thoughts on the figure, I think she's a pretty good figure, especially if you want to complete the MCU Avengers. I know some people may not like Captain Marvel. That's due to the fact of her actually in the comics she is not that likable. She does have some detestable moments, much like the recent Civil War Part 2, and not to mention that adds up for the controversies of Brie Larson. But as a character and as a character for the MCU, I try to treat her as a separate entity, which what basically happened when I first watched Captain Marvel. Long before the film debuted, there was already some issues, but when I watched the movie, my brain automatically switched into, this is not Brie Larson, this is not the comic book version of Captain Marvel, this is not the cartoon version of Captain Marvel, this is the MCU Captain Marvel, and I have to judge her by her character, her traits, and the way she is depicted in these certain media. which is actually giving the character a fair shot of earning their place in the fan base. And personally, that's just my perspective as well as my opinion. You are welcome to be entitled to yours, and that's okay. This is what the community is about. This is what the fan base is about. It's about opening up ideas and opening up other people's minds, as well as having contradicting ideas. And there's nothing wrong about that. That's what actually makes a community unique and as well as active, because people are sharing different ideas. It doesn't always have to be aligned. It doesn't always to be positive. That's what really gives the fan base something to go on with. And going back to the figure, I would not say that she is a must-get figure, but if you are trying to complete the Avengers, especially for Infinity War and Endgame, she is an absolute must-get. You can't complete the entire Avengers without Captain Marvel, because she is now part of the MCU. And not to mention, she also had a role to play. So if you like this video, drop a like and subscribe for more content. It really helps me out. Well, till next time, see ya.